It's that time. Welcome back. Football Focus Weekly is back on the map, baby. We got a lot to talk about. It's funny we decided to come back today because there's a lot that just happened today. But we're going to hit several different topics. We got a couple surprises. There's one that's already sitting backstage that might, you guys don't watch us very much. May not surprise you, but if you're a regular watcher of Football Focus Weekly, you know what the hell. Let's just get it out the way. We're going to bring on the man formerly known as Big Shelby. But he is now known as Large Patriot. What's up?
It's about Large Patriot.
Adam Weber.
What's going on, guys, man? I'm happy to be back on here, man. It feels like it's been forever.
It has been a long time, man. So what led you to the Big I, man?
Just a change of scenery, time for growth, man. I looked at myself as a coach in my career doing 4 years at Shelby. First, I do want to thank all the guys at Shelby that's been very supportive throughout this whole process. Thank the head coach, Coach Will Banks, for giving me a chance to even come in and coach as a how old was I? 22-year-old kid, fresh out of college. Let me come home coaching my alma mater, man. Got to win 2 state championships in football, one in basketball under Coach Aubrey Hollifield. So I appreciate Coach Hollifield and Coach Miles Lawrence for letting me stay and coach and finish out my basketball things. But as far as independence goes, man, it was just a great opportunity for me. Got a chance to meet with Coach McFadden. We tried to get the job done last year, but I didn't know if I was ready yet. But now I'm ready. I'm in there. Took a leap of faith. Just trying to push myself, put myself in uncomfortable situations and see how I grow and see if I'm this good coach I say I am. But since I've been there this last month, man, I feel like it's a match made in heaven.
Absolutely, man. DJ McFadden, one of the best coaches in the state. I was gonna say Charlotte Metro, but screw that. In the state, it's been proven. You look good, man. You look good in the green and yellow, man.
I'm still adjusting, man. I'm still adjusting to the colors. I always joke with the staff about how my old rival school was green and yellow, so it's funny that I put on green and yellow. And then it's funny how when I posted I was going to Independence, people thought I was going to Crest. So that's crazy in itself, but yeah, man. But I mean, look good, feel good, man. I think the green brings out my skin, man. So
well, we'll have some comments on that, but there's a couple of nice comments right here. Chat administrator. Look at that. That is the best daggone chat administrator. We were gone for like 3 months, and he is back on the first show. He says congratulations. He says Moorville is greater than Big I, but that's chat administrator for you. Let's see. Brian Byers. Welcome, Brian. Adam Weber, I want to see you do well. I think he meant doubt yourself. So, well, he ain't going to do that. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah, you never don't do that. Look at this, Joe.
Dang on Joe Hughes, boy.
Hey, Joe, hey, Joe, that insurance different up here, man.
Oh, man.
Man, the insurance is different, dog.
All right, so, guys, we're going to run the intro. The intro's still the same for now because it's the off-season. We ain't started Season 5 yet. We'll be right back to talk about a lot of topics, including coaching changes that have happened most recently as today. Be right back.
This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders.
All right, welcome back. Offseason show, March edition, Football Focus Weekly. We're here with the large patriot, Adam Weber, and producer Brandon is back. He loves that nickname.
Yeah, man. I was like, wait a minute. The large patriot.
Well, he can't be Big Shelby no more.
No.
Large patriot, man.
It fits, man.
All right, well, before we get into all the coaching changes that have been going on, let's talk about what we've been doing in the offseason. So, Big Shelby, you kind of let us show what you're doing. Producer Brandon, what you been doing since we've been gone a couple months?
Man, I just, I go to work. I go to the gym after work and come home and just relax, man. Just kind of enjoying the downtime. But, still anxious, looking forward to the, next season. So, but just kind of enjoying the downtime, man. I kind of got my routine, work, hit the gym, come home and turn on the PlayStation, man. That's my normal routine. I'm sticking with it, man. So hopefully may get a vacation or two, couple trips here and there before the season starts. But just enjoying my usual routine, man. Getting some relaxation in.
If you did not know, that is the life of a rich single man right there.
There we go, baby.
Because my life ain't like that, and Large Patriot's life ain't like that either. So, well, it's good to see you. Glad to have you back, man.
Yes, sir.
Me personally, if you have been following me on Twitter, which most of you watching the show, you probably do follow me on Twitter. I've been working with Prep Red Zone for the past few months. It's been a great opportunity to highlight a lot of kids, a lot of talented kids from all over North and South Carolina. And it's really kind of helped me, get to know a lot of kids, man. Because, doing what we're doing, on the show and throughout the season, you get to know some of the kids, some of the bigger names and all that. But and then through the camps we do, of course, you get to know some kids. But really, with Prep Red Zone, their focus is trying to highlight as many kids as possible that are deserving of the spotlight. And it's been really cool to do that. And I'm going to continue to do that, as, time goes on for the foreseeable future. So there'll be some exciting things we're going to announce, partnerships and things like that. So just stay tuned. But really, that's what I've been up to, been working. I am engaged, have a wedding coming up. That's been exciting. A lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. So, all right. So that's what we've been doing in the off season so far. But now let's get into it, man. We had a lot of stuff happen today, and we've had a lot of stuff happening over the past probably 2 months with area coaching changes and open jobs. So obviously, let's start with the thing that's freshest, and that is, and I'm going as fresh as possible. We'll start with Kings Mountain. Large Patriot, you know about Kings Mountain just a little bit. What do you think about the hire of Straight Heron as their head coach?
Just based off looking at his resume, I think it was a home run hire on paper. I'm not sure. It'd be very interesting to see how it'll carry over into this spring season, the summer, because I know the kids and a lot of the parents around the program was pushing to get the DC, Coach Wilson. That didn't happen. So in these situations, it can be tricky, man. You got a new coach coming in that's looking to change things around now. So you gotta be on the lookout for a different roster turnover or a coaching turnover. Who's he's bringing in, who's leaving. So I'm pretty sure all that's gonna happen pretty fast. But you, like I said though, like on paper, man, it's a great hire. He's very, very well decorated. He's a winner. I know Kings Mountain is trying to get over that hump, being the only team in Cleveland County to not have a state championship. So I think they went in the right direction as far as on paper. But me personally, I don't know if I would have made that decision, only because at the end of the day, you don't want to lose the kids at the end of the day. But like I said, on paper, he's a great guy to have.
All right. I respect you for putting that opinion out there because, the consensus is obviously, like you said, he's very decorated, did a great job leading South Point in South Carolina to a lot of winning seasons, state championships, all those things, National Coach of the Year, all those different kind of accolades, man. Producer Brandon, you got an opinion on that hire?
Just on the surface level, man. I mean, you want to. I think it was, what he brought up about, being the only team in the area without a championship. I think that was the motivating factor, like deciding factor. So they wanted it. They wanted a championship, and made sure they went out and got someone that has a history of winning championships, and has had a lot of success. So um, I think it was definitely a win now type move, and they want to lose that stigma, get that monkey off their back, so to speak. A lot of us thought that last year was going to be it. They had a strong season. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way, but I really think that was a big decision behind that. They no longer want to be the only team in there without a championship, but he's had a lot of success, so we'll just see how it gels in the area. It's tough to come in a spot when you're not the favorite, so to speak, by the local people in the area. But if his resume says anything, he'll just have to work to win them over. But it'd be interesting to see. But they went out and he got a history of success, so we'll just see if it transfers over.
Yeah, that's well said, man. Good stuff. I'll give my opinion here. So, obviously, like we said, he's very decorated. He was last at South Point in 2018. Talking about Rock Hill, South Point, South Carolina. And then he took on the Legion Collegiate job. It was just a new open kind of in the mold of an Oceanside, where the students kind of go to class, and then they have a chance to participate in athletics, and it's kind of that model, similar to that. So that's what he's been doing the past couple years. But Legion Collegiate, shut down their football program not too long ago. I think it was maybe a month or two ago. They came out and announced that. So when that happened, obviously, Coach Heron is looking for another opportunity, and to get this caliber coach, March is kind of late in the process too. To get this kind of coach this late in the process, kind of off of those circumstances, is I think it's a win for Kings Mountain. But to Coach Weber's point, there was a big push, to hire a coach that was already on staff. It was made public through, social media posts and things of that nature. And, Coach Heron, with all of his, what I want to say, all of the things that he's accomplished, thank you, throughout his career, I think that'll give him enough to come in there and say, look, if you believe in me, you trust in me, we can do some special things as a team, but we got to come together, and that will be a challenge, especially when you're coming into a situation like that. But I mean, there's no doubt that he can coach. There's no doubt that he's going to put together a great staff. He had some really good coaches at Legion Collegiate. You probably expect to see some of them come into Kings Mountain. You'll have to see who's going to stay, who's going to leave, all those different things. But at the end of the day, the man can, coach, flat out coach, and win at a high level. And if you're Kings Mountain, you got to give him a shot. I mean, that's just my opinion. And I think he's going to do a heck of a job. There's too much talent at Kings Mountain. There's too much talent at Kings Mountain for a coach like that, all that talent to come together and not be successful. That's my opinion. All right, so earlier today, we also had Mike Newsom, legendary head coach. Won state championships at Butler, did a good job at A.L. Brown. He decided that he's going to step back a little bit. Did not say he's done completely with coaching, but obviously everything he's done throughout his career, that A.L. Brown job is open. Let's see, chat administrator said, shout out to Coach Newsom on retirement today. Now, he said he wasn't done with coaching. He said he's just stepping back. So, we could see him again. But, so we'll say so far in his career, he's done a heck of a job. But what do you guys think about the A.L. Brown job? Is that still a top job in the state, or has things kind of changed over the years as we've kind of moved away from, what Kannapolis used to be and then what it is now? Producer Brandon, I'll let you go first on that.
I think just like with anything, as we move forward in time, same thing in Charlotte. The more schools we get, that does stretch the talent out some. Um, with transfers and things being a bigger thing, more prevalent than they used to be, that also plays a role. However, even with those things that sort of balance power out, so to speak, I would say because they're located and because their history in the community, I would say yes. It's still a coveted job, but just not quite, what it might have been in the, early 2000s, 90s, etc., and even further back. Just because, there's so many factors. Just times have changed. Talent is distributed a little differently now. People just, up and move or transfer. Um, a lot more quickly now. But because of the area and where it is, still a coveted position, still a coveted job, but probably not quite doesn't have quite the draw that it probably did in the past. But you can't write them off though.
Yeah, I think some good coaches will be interested in the job, obviously. But let's see. Chad Administrator's got this comment here. He says A.L. Brown is kind of like Mooresville, not that big elite job, but it's a job that gives you all the resources to build a solid competitive program. I think there's still some people around, Kannapolis that still want to get back to the Nick Maddox days and when Bruce Harden was there and they were winning big and going to state championships. But large Patriot, is it realistic that A.L. Brown can get back to those days in 2023?
Oh yes, I think it is. So man, I remember going there my sophomore year in 2011, going up there, being in that environment, see how it is. For one, they have a great community. Like Kyle said, they have great resources. I think it could just be one of those that Coach Newsom probably, at this time in football, man, you have to be able to relate to the kids. Not saying that he's not relatable or not he can't relate. A lot of times, like younger players, not necessarily are receptive to an older legendary coach because they may look at it like, "What are you doing for me now?" In the standpoint of like being able to still do things that you did back in the day. I'm sure back in those early years when he was coaching, he was able to do more as a coach. But now, obviously, with being older and being there for a long period of time, dealing with the kids wanting to transfer every week and stuff like that, you might want somebody that's younger, more receptive. But I think it's a great area, man. It's a great football place. They're in a great position. They're not necessarily in a conference that's not hard to win as far as being in a conference where it's super stacked with talent. I think it's very winnable. I think it'll be an easy fix to get back on top, just depending on who they hire and what kids stay and what kids leave. But I still think Kannapolis is a great place to be. Like I said, anytime you have a great community support, great school support, man, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, that's well said, man. And your point about the Greater Metro 4 Conference, and I know Chad Administrator might chime in on that since that's his thing. You're right, though. You're right. That conference is wide open. From year to year, you don't know who's going to be on top. That's one of the things we talk about all the time on this show is, just the competitiveness of that league itself. So we have a couple other hires to kind of talk about. Deshaun Baker leaving Cox Mill, going back to Huff. If you're watching the show, you probably know. But if you don't know, he was at Huff before he took the head coaching job at Cox Mill. Now going back to Huff. Everyone that I've talked to feels like that was something that a lot of people felt like was probably going to happen. It was just a matter of when and not if. But obviously he's very, very talented, very decorated. Really connects to his kids well. Really good offensive mind. Great motivator, and obviously he did some really good things at Cox Mill, getting that program to probably another 2 levels from where it was from when he took over. What do you guys think about Coach Baker going back to Huff?
I think that's an advantage to go someplace you're familiar with. Like you said, he's been there before. Being able to have a job and pick up somewhere that you're familiar with, I think that's an added edge rather than a coach just going in completely new territory. To have some history where you're going is great. The talent obviously is there. He's proven himself, as a coach. So I just with all of that considered, having him having history there, the talent we know is there, and his resume so far as a coach, that's all the pieces to success. So I'm sure he'll do great.
Agreed. Large Pacer, you want to chime in on that?
Yes, I don't know Coach Baker, but just hearing about him, hearing a lot of good things about him, just being able to, like you said, being able to go back to some place that you're familiar with. You already know what's expected. You already know what to do. You already know who to go to for things that you need. You already know what the expectation is. So that's always it's always a great thing to have, man. It's a great recipe for success, and I wish Huff the best this year.
Absolutely. They got a good staff up there, too. I saw some of the guys that are coming on board. It's going to be a really, really good program. We're going to talk about programs to watch here in a little bit. Also, we've got, obviously, Cox Mill had an opening. And they brought on Breon Holmes, who was the offensive coordinator at Archer Kell, coming into that Cox Mill program that Coach Baker left in a good place. Coach Holmes, really, really good dude. We've had him on the show before. Well-spoken, very organized. Guys, you got any thoughts on Coach Holmes taking over that Cox Mill job? I think he's gonna do a great job personally.
I don't know him personally, but I always wish anybody the best that's transitioning to the head coaching job. And speaking of Cox Mill, we can give a shout out to our guy.
You're breaking over there.
Hope that wasn't important.
No, my phone just fell. Isn't that what Billups said now? Yeah, we give a shout out to our guy Billups over there, man.
Yeah. Our buddy, the illustrious Brandon Billups, who announced today on Twitter that he is retired from the show. But you can still see him at CFI camps. Breaking news on that. But Cox Mill has some talented kids too. I wrote about a couple of them. Big offensive lineman that's talented. Young guy in Cleves that's really talented. Can get it done on both sides of the football. So they're gonna be really good once again this upcoming season for sure. A couple comments here. Josh Gash, is it Big Independence now?
Yeah, it's the big eye, man. It's the match made in heaven, man. There was the big eye before Big Web got there, man. So now we're just even bigger, man.
That's why he's a large patriot. Yes, sir. All right, Jermaine Brandon. I remember playing against Nick Maddox. Oh, yeah. Highlight of my career. I tackled Nick Maddox for a 2-yard loss.
Nick Maddox from Shelby.
Solo?
It was destined.
Solo tackle, yeah. They tried to run a counter. And all full disclosure, they missed they didn't block me.
I would have left. You better than me. I'd have left all of that out.
Yeah, be honest. You was too nice to be blocked. Just be honest.
I wouldn't have gave any of those details. I tackled him in space solo for a 2-yard loss, and I would have left.
Well, that is true. I did do that. And Bruce Harden was very upset. He said he let that guy tackle you. I was like, I'm more than that guy. Come on, man. Come on, Bruce. Oh, man. Chat administrator says, breaking news to some, no Mooresville Huff game this year. They didn't schedule each other. Well, times change, man. Everything's not forever, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, Josh says congrats. There you go. Good job. Thanks for watching, Josh. I know you're Hunter Huss guy, right?
Hunter Huss guy.
Yeah. Coach Thompson doing some good things out there, man. They've been young the past couple of years, but I think this year, they're gonna surprise some people. I really believe that for sure. Let's see. Chat administrator coming in. Is it odd that South Iredale still hasn't hired a head coach? Well, I mean, it takes time. It takes time, man.
That makes sure people apply for it too.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. But I mean, let's talk about that for a second. It is a tough deal to try to find the right fit, to hire a head coach because each school is different. It's all about positions that are open in the school from a teaching standpoint. And then you got to figure out everyone's got to be aligned from the administration to the athletic to community. Everyone's got to be on the same page. It's not just as saying, okay, we can just go get this guy. What if he's not a teacher? If he's not in the school, then you gotta figure something out. You know, you gotta be certified in North Carolina. They give you 3 years to do it, so you can take someone that's not a faculty person, but if they're not working towards becoming a certified teacher, then you're only gonna have them for 3 years. And then you're gonna be looking for somebody else again, or some different programs have done different things, in those situations, but it takes time. It takes time. You got to interview well. We talk about Eric Bieniemy all the time. One of the things that people say is he didn't interview well. Well, we don't know. We're not in the room, but I mean, you got to be able to carry yourself. You got to be able to be presentable and stand in front of a group of young men and motivate. And you may know all the stuff in the world on the board, but if you can't articulate and get those guys to execute, then you're not going to be successful. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot to hire a head coach. These comments, man, it's funny. It's funny. All right, so let's jump to another topic here. Let's talk about our upcoming HBCU Carolina Showcase. April 20th, and I'll go solo on this. You guys will be back in just a second. We're doing this thing at Harding, and we're only charging $25. And the reason why we're doing that is because there are a lot of times with, our bigger camps, not to say that this is not a big camp, it is, but our big, mega camps where we have, schools from all over the world basically coming to check out kids, we price those at $100, which is very reasonable. But even then, we still have times where people will say, well, I can't afford $100. Times are tough, and we're still dealing with people coming out of COVID, and jobs are still, funny out here. So we're really doing this for $25 to give everybody a chance to participate in a CFI camp experience or a camp experience in general. Because, there are other camps out here upwards of $200 and even $300. And it just blows my mind when I see that stuff because, what are you getting for your money? You got to be really smart about that. And we will never price a camp over $100 unless it's a last minute thing where we're just trying to squeeze somebody in to give them opportunity. But I encourage you to go to charlottefootballinsiders.com, sign up. We have groups of kids coming from different teams in the area, which is great. And even outside of the area, this is on a Thursday at 6:00 at Harding. And we have people coming from North Forsyth have signed up. There are people coming from Virginia that signed up. There are people coming from South Carolina that signed up. And I'm not talking about Rock Hill. I'm talking about deep down in the state. Because they realize the opportunity to perform in front of college coaches is rare. And last year's HBCU Carolina Showcase, we had over 40 schools there. It got bigger than HBCU schools. There's 7 HBCU schools in North Carolina alone. And we have great relationships with all of them. And I'm telling you, if you want to get on the recruiting map, if you want to get exposure, if you want to learn what a camp experience is like before you go into camp season, this is the best opportunity to do it. And to do this at $25, to be honest with you, I'm losing money. I'm losing money because there's an insurance cost, there's a field rental cost, there's a cost for staff. All those things are involved, and I'm doing it at this price because I want to give everyone an opportunity. And if you don't take the opportunity, man, I don't know what to tell you. I understand if you're in another sport or if you got a game or something, but we did it on a Thursday because I know 7-on-7 is big. There's always travel 7-on-7. There's always games every weekend, so we didn't want to do it on the weekend because, we would miss a whole bunch of kids trying to get this opportunity. We changed the date because we were running into coaches. Some schools were having spring practice on the original date. So we said, well, let's move it back a little bit. Give everybody a chance to come out and be a part of it. So once again, $25, lowest price you'll ever see for a camp, especially with all of the college coaches that we're going to have there. Also comes with a shirt. We changed the shirt colors this year, so if you came last year, you'll get a different color shirt this year. Make sure you go to charlottefootballinsiders.com. If you don't have anyone, involved, tell someone, share the opportunity with them. Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate that. We could post all kind of testimonials, from kids that literally from the winter showcase back in December, because they came to that camp, they got offered, and then they committed to the schools that were at that camp that saw them, offered them there. I mean, literally putting kids into school. That's why we do this. We don't do it to get rich. We do it to give kids opportunities in front of college coaches. So, really, really appreciate all the support. And yeah, I could really get on my soapbox, but I'll save that for the April show. Some of these camps that, really are just ridiculous, man. It really is. But please, once again, charlottefootballinsiders.com. Sign up. We've got about 100 kids signed up now. We will sell out. I guarantee you at this price point, we're going to sell out. So, once again, thanks a lot for your support, guys. All right, let's jump to the next topic here, and we bring everybody back on the screen. Let's see here. We're going to talk about recruiting a little bit. Seeing Deion Sanders say some interesting things here lately. So if you're not familiar, Deion Sanders really kind of talked about his quote-unquote recruiting philosophy. And I want to pull up the exact quote, make sure that I quote this correctly and then get everyone's opinion. So leave me 1 second to pull it up. But basically he said for defensive linemen, he's looking for guys that come from, single parent homes? Am I quoting that correctly, guys?
Something like that. Broken
homes or something like that. And then, he said for, I think I got it right here. Let me make sure. Let's see. So, the quarterbacks, he wants mother, father, dual parent household. He wants that kid to have a 3.5 GPA and up because he has to be smart, not bad decisions off the field at all. He has to be a leader of men. And he was talking about attributes that they look for in a quarterback. So then defensive lineman, he says defensive lineman is totally opposite. Single mama trying to get it, he's on free lunch. I'm talking about just trying to make it. He's trying to rescue mama like mama barely made the flight. And I want him to just go get it. It's a whole different attribute that you look for in different positions, and we have that stuff just chronicled. We know what we want, and we go get it. Now, it's very, very interesting just to say that. I'm really surprised that he went public and said all those things. But I'll give you a chance first to weigh in on that one, guys, before I say what I feel on that. So, producer, what are your thoughts on those recruiting philosophies?
So I'm really hoping it's something he just said for some shock value and just to get some attention, on the program, even though it already had a lot. I'm hoping that the way he worded it, I'm hoping it's just for shock value, which we know he's very charismatic, and he'll he says a lot of things that register with people. But if that's truly his philosophy, I gotta put that in one of those things where you keep that to yourself. As far as the household, in their background and upbringing and things like that. It's fine if maybe that's something he wanted to keep internalized, but not everything has to be said. So, you're really gonna discredit. I mean, you might have a kid in his mind say, "Oh man, I'm a raised by a single parent. I guess I'll never be able to play for Deion." So, you don't want to send that message. It's fine to look for I think to me as a recruiter, you need to be focused more on the attributes and the qualities that the kid has. Is he a leader? How is he in the classroom? Is he a leader on the field, so to speak? Because we know for a fact we've seen successful people come from all types of backgrounds. There's NFL Hall of Famers that came from broken homes. There's NFL Hall of Famers that came from your traditional two-parent household. So I personally can't see that as a big factor in success. So But I'm hoping he just said it just for shock value and just felt like saying something. But if not, I think he should have just internalized that one. But that's just me.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was really surprised. Large Patriot, you gonna weigh in on this?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be completely honest here. I kind of agree with Brandon about I probably would have kept it in house, but he's 100% right about those things. As far as I know, especially for D linemen, some of the best D linemen I ever seen ever played with was like from single pair of homes, and they were just trying to make it because they was like complete dogs. I mean, I don't know how far. I don't know if I would have said it publicly in the interview. Now I would have joked with my coaching friends and said it, but I don't really know. Like him being in that position, I don't know if I would have said that uh, on like live like that, knowing like he's been getting a lot of media coverage and things like that. Because you notice he didn't really post that on his social media page like he's been posting a lot of other things. He was on another media outlet, but I think some people would disagree with it. I don't think they disagree with what he said. I think they disagree with him just saying it publicly because, like I said, I mean, because that's just how it is this day and time. But I'm willing to bet you any coach kind of has that same philosophy, or they can relate and say that their D linemen most D linemen that are like complete savages. Like that's kind of the case a lot of times. Even with quarterbacks, I mean, it makes sense. You got to be able to lead. You got to be a leader. He also said something about O linemen. He made a quote about O linemen and linebacker, things like that. I mean, I don't disagree with what he said. Now I don't know, like I say, but I don't know if I would have said it during the interview on the media outlet.
Yeah, I mean, those things, like you're saying, if it's an internal staff philosophy, that's one thing. And I mean, let's not be, crazy here. We know NFL Combine's going on right now, and the NFL's cracking down on some of the questions that, these professional teams ask these kids, and some of those are out of line, to be honest, and some of them are along these same lines looking for traits, or stereotypes for some of these kids. Now, you play defensive line, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you would know. Like
Yeah,
you
like
said,
some
some
of
of
the
your
best linemen I
teammates.
played for, they was complete savages
Yeah.
because of their upbringing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean,
like I said, but if my head coach said that, he wouldn't say it on an interview saying, "Yeah, I want to D line from a single parent home on free lunch." Now he may be now we may be in the coach's office. Me as a player, we're looking at next players to recruit, and we may say, "Man, he a dog. He come from a single parent home, man. That free lunch, it's different."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But also the stigma behind free lunch now is not what it once was, because you could be the richest person in the school to the poorest person in the school now to get free lunch. All you gotta do is sign the form.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not the stigma of like how it once was, like, okay, these kids may not have a lot, so we're gonna give them free lunch, or they parents don't make a lot, so let's give them free lunch. So
yeah, that's well said, man. Like I said, it's internal coach office talk. And if you've ever been a coach before, there've been some legendary talks in the coach's office, and it's one of those things that it's kind of like locker room. You break that wall, man, and when you break that wall, it gets a little scary, a little uncomfortable, and people don't like that. But yeah, I wouldn't have said it, out there because at some point someone's going to use that against you. And recruiting is cutthroat, and you guarantee people that are recruiting against Colorado are going to use those quotes against Deion, going after some of these top kids that may not fit those stigmas that he's talking about. Couple comments. Let's see here. Chat administrator. We'll come back to the hoops one. But this is really cool. Shout out to Trenton Simpson from Mallard Creek, Javon Gwynn from Harding, Garrett Williams from Hickory Ridge, and Jalen Brooks from Hickory Ridge for doing their thing at the NFL Combine. Yeah, that is great. All kids that, producer me and you have covered these kids.
Yes, sir.
And we know,
Javon.
I'll know three of them because I interviewed three of those guys. And Trenton, we obviously know very well from what he did at Mallard Creek and having him on highlights, and he's a well-spoken young man. It's really great, man. It's really cool to kind of have done this for a few years now and see some of those kids grow up, do well in college, and now have a chance to go really make a living being professional football players, man. That's really, really good stuff. Javon, whenever you make it big, man, Harden still got some needs, so I'll reach out to you. Anyway, all right. So yeah, it's really crazy with what Dion said. Also on the recruiting tip, there's a lot of kids that always ask me, how do I get noticed? How do I get seen? We do at Prep Red Zone. We write about a lot of kids that try to give them exposure. Does anyone have some recruiting tips? I know, Large Patriot, you've shared some really good stuff in the past because you've done, some of that in your past.
And I have a new one that
Okay, let's go.
I have a new one that's been trending on my social media with high school kids. Please, I cannot stress this enough. Freshmen and sophomores, when y'all tweet y'all stuff out, please stop saying coaches take a chance on me. You are a freshman and a sophomore. You have not been a part of that many high school games yet for them to even get a fair evaluation. The only people that's getting offers as freshmen and sophomores are like the 1%. You have to be literally one of the best in the nation to get offers as a freshman and sophomore. Like people, I keep see people saying they posting clips. Coach, take a chance on me. Take a chance on me. You haven't even took the ACT yet. You ain't even eligible to take the ACT or SAT yet. Like, relax. It's gonna come. Like a great story I can have right now. I have two stories actually. I have a kid now, Jakeith Hamilton, that just signed to go to Furman at my old school at Shelby. His recruiting process took a long period of time. He really didn't get the Furman offer until a week before signing day, or 2 weeks before signing day, I would say. They came to a basketball game and loved him. So also play two sports, multiple sports. They came to a basketball game and seen him, see how he moved, seen his leadership. They loved him. Offered him on the spot. We went down on a Saturday, the following Saturday, on the unofficial visit. He committed on the visit. Went down the next Saturday and for an official visit with his parents, and he signed on Saturday. So y'all keep saying take a chance on me, take a chance on me. And this guy was a Shrine Bowl player, all-state player, all those things. Like, do not rush your recruiting process because it's literally different for everybody. Stop seeing your peers. Stop going judging your career off your peers, and thinking that just because it happened for them fast, it's gonna happen for you fast. Because I know Pep, you can attest to this. It's a lot of kids that get 25 offers their junior year, don't get another. Either you can beat that kid. That's great. You can get your 25. That's great. But at the same time, all you need is that 1, 2, 3, or 4 that you want, and you'll be fine. Also, kids, if you have offers already, stop tweeting, y'all sleeping on me. You have opportunities on the table. You have opportunities on the table. Somebody wants you. Nobody's sleeping on you. At times, fellas, now, if this transfer portal wasn't as crazy as it is now, I would tell you 100%, 1,000% bet on yourself. I did it. I would tell you that. But the way this transfer portal is set up now, whatever you have, man, go there, ball out, get the film. Do not leave your school that you're at until you know for sure that you have a place to go. It is thousands of kids. They will show you how great those transfer numbers are at D1 schools, D2 schools, D3 schools, but they will not show you that transfer portal of all these kids that will be stuck in the portal when August hits.
Well said.
So,
absolutely.
as parents and kids, parents, don't transfer your kids off not talking to your head coaches and stuff like that. Have those conversations. I promise you. If your head coach is a real one, he will sit you down, you and your parents, and tell you realistically where you can go, why you ain't getting these certain looks, and that's what type of transparency you want, right? But so as a recruiter, just please take care of business, man. Another story, I have a kid that balled out 2 years, junior year, senior year, but his freshman year was so bad at another school academically, he wasn't able to go to the big-time Division I schools that wanted.
There you go.
So y'all freshmen and sophomores worrying about getting offers, it's going to start in the classroom first. have a great year. You don't got to have no 3.5, 3.8 your freshman year. That'd be great. At least try to get a 2.5, A's, B's, and C's.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll keep working as your sophomore year, A's and B's, junior year, all A's. Because all you need is a 2.5. Some schools, all you need is a 2.0. Like some JUCOs won't even take kids with 2.1s, 2.2s because it's a lot of talent out there, man. So you have to just be transparent with your head coaches, man. Don't rush your recruiting process. Seniors, if you're out there now, keep making pushes to get the coaches. Right now, I think a lot of the schools are even D1s not taking walk-ons no more. A lot of D2s may not be. D3s always taking, JUCOs filling up. So, like, man, you just have to be whatever you have, man. Obviously, even if your financial situation ain't set up for Division IIIs, go the JUCO route.
There you go.
But you don't want to wait super late. You don't want to be making decisions about where you're going to school in June.
Absolutely. That's really good. There's a lot of stuff there. And recruiting is going to be something we talk about throughout the offseason. We're going to go back to our monthly shows. And so in April, we're going to talk more about recruiting, kind of what goes into it. One of the things we say at camps all the time is your path may not be a straight line because of your situation, whether it's financial, whether it's academic, or whether it's if you need more time to develop as a player. You know, you may have to start somewhere else and then try to get to where you want to be. But, you know, it's really more so than ever, you got to have an open mind, you know, and really do your homework in this recruiting process. And that's why we're here. We're going to try to help you, educate you throughout, you know, everywhere where you want to go as a player. And parents, we're also here as a resource as well. The engine is not here tonight. But he is also a great resource. You know, he always helps, you know, parents that may have questions, you know, former head coach at a couple different schools, East Rowan, Central Bears, very knowledgeable, a great resource. So reach out to him as well if you've got questions.
Yeah, feel free to hit me up too, man. I'm willing to help you any way I can. I'm still helping kids in Shelby in the local area. So just feel free, man, to hit me up.
Yeah. So real quick, before we go into slime time, our last topic of the night, we're going to take a real quick look at, take a quick look at off-season as we're in now. Take a look at next season. Some teams that look like they are going to be really tough to beat in the Charlotte metro area. Trust me, all conferences throughout the Charlotte metro area, we're going to do our preseason shows like we always do. We'll really get deep down, in depth. But this is just a 5-minute look. And I'm really going to talk about a minute a team here, and I'll let you guys weigh in on the ones you want to talk about. But obviously let's start with large Patriots team, the Independence Patriots. What a season they had last year. Really, really, really talented across the board. Quarterback Justin Little is a really talented young man. They are losing, you know, a couple of really good kids, including Josh Isaiah, off of that defense. But they've got, you know, some talent coming back as well. They made it pretty deep in the playoffs, losing to Grimsley, who was a Charlotte Slayer this past year, knocking out Independence, Weddington, and Huff on their way to the state title game. The Patriots are going to be a really, really strong threat to deal with this upcoming season. You guys got any thoughts on the Patriots? I almost said Big Shelby. Oh, Lord. Large Patriot. You don't have to say anything on that.
At least once or twice. It's going to slip at some point.
I won't speak too much on what we got going on, but just know we keeping our head down and work. We hear the expectations. Coach McFadden stresses that. We know the expectations. We hear the expectations, but you got to still work at the end of the day. People are working. Just because they talk about us, other people are other schools here too, so they want to be the ones to shut everybody up. So, you know, we just keeping our head down. We ain't doing a lot of talking on social media, a lot of posting. We're just working to get back where the program once was. I think we're already there as far as in-house, with weight room and expectations, and the standard is already back. But, you know, we just look forward to focusing on us and taking that next step.
There you go. Now, the Huff Huskies look like we talked about Coach Baker earlier, but a lot of talent on that team, man. My goodness, just analyzing them, you know, throughout the offseason with some of the players they have coming back, it's incredible. You start with the young corner and Samari Smoke Matthews. That's his nickname. He's getting offers from all over the place. James Nesta, outside linebacker, 6'5", coming off the edge and getting offers from all over the place. They got a young quarterback in Trey Blakeney. He's going to step up, has some big shoes to fill from Tad Hudson, graduating and moving on to North Carolina. But what a team, man. It's going to be really, really fun to see those guys in action. And then Coach Baker's leadership. We've kind of seen this before. I kind of liken it to when, Coach Brand was at, back then it was Vance, and they advanced deep in the playoffs. And then Coach Glenwood Furby came in, and then they won a couple of state championships. So can we see something similar from the Huskies this season with the, transition there? And that's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch for sure. Then, of course, Providence Day coming off a NCISAA state championship. And they've got a lot of that talent coming back. And that's the scary thing with those guys. Those guys were like sophomores and juniors. They were out there and they just, dominated most Friday nights, man. And then all the names that you probably know now. Jaden Davis, of course, one of the top quarterbacks. I say the top quarterback in the nation in his class. Channing Goodwin on the outside. Jordan Shipp, the all-world receiver. And then, of course, David Sanders, the big lineman, who's the top player in his class in the nation. Guys, that is incredible. We have some of the top players in the nation in Charlotte. That's great, man. It's awesome, man. And then Coach Chad Greer doing an amazing job. It's not easy to coach all that talent, because everyone wants to be in the spotlight. But, all accounts, that program is humble. They're hardworking. And, they're going to be favored to, win another state championship over there for sure. So, and then, of course, you got Butler and Chambers, kind of like perennial contenders year in and year out, reloading with talent. Butler, Zach Lawrence, quarterback. I say young, but now he's coming into his junior year. Ultra talented. They've got some, really, really strong guys in their program. Tyquan Rankin at linebacker. I wrote about the Quadre Currents at receiver. Really talented young man. And then, they've got really, really strong coaching staffs. So you look at Chambers, there's another Concepcion, Arion, who's just got an NC State offer at receiver. And then you look at their secondary, it's just crazy with Flo and Carter and Henderson getting offers out of the wazoo back there. And I know I'm missing some other kids over there because there's so many. I love Armand Wright, who really did well at the Winter Showcase. He picked up an offer from Charlotte at receiver. So there's so much talent here. But I think, this year, upcoming, Charlotte is going to bounce back within the state. Some people feel like, the state has caught up to Charlotte this year. I think we're going to see a really, really strong bounce back, and we're going to get back to kind of what things used to be, where Charlotte kind of dominated the state from a football standpoint, not only in 4A, but 3A as well, because West Charlotte, has some really good, talented kids over there. Jaden Smith at linebacker, Julian Carmichael at linebacker, and they've got Fennell Marshall, really talented lineman. So, Gary Ashley, thank you for this note right here before we go into slime time. Bank of America Stadium, that came out today too. What a day! What a day for high school football. The first high school game ever at Bank of America Stadium. Providence Day is taking on Northwestern out of Rock Hill with our boy Turbo Richard at running back, who's also getting offers from all over the place. One of our CFI camp MVP, guys, came to every CFI camp that we ever had. I'm so proud for that young man. But that's taking place. That's a Saturday, August 19th at 7 p.m. The great thing about that, guys, tickets are $5. That's great. That's better than a high school game. High school games, you're paying $7 and $8 on campus now. It's only $5 at Bank of America Stadium, man. So make sure you go in there and check that out. There's going to be a great experience for those young men on both sides. And it's going to be a really good football game because Northwestern's going to be good in their own right. So We just talked about Providence Day, so really, really cool stuff. Shout out to David Tepper, man, for the Panthers. Really, really cool for him to do that because they're losing money on that. For everything that takes a NFL stadium to operate. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome, man. All right, so, but now it is that time, and we ain't done it in a while, so I know everybody got something good. It is that time to slime with your favorite host who's not here, but it's not me still. All right, so producer Brandon, who you gonna slime on tonight?
I'm gonna slime these NFL teams as a whole out there. A lot of info came out recently from some surveys that the players did about their respective teams. And a lot of teams every team was assigned a letter grade in various things: nutrition, facilities, how their families are treated, etc. And it was quite eye opening. You had a lot of crazy things like teams double booking the players, making players double up in hotel rooms, players getting charged for meals, at the facility, subpar facilities, teams with can't remember which one, but somebody had rats in their facility. Just all kinds of craziness, man, and just shows you just kind of how deep rooted greed can run, man. When you don't want to. I can get it if the hotel's full, you can't. But just to be cheap and make guys double up in rooms just to save money. I mean, no, I get it. It's a business, but I think you got to treat guys a little bit better than that. And it ain't even about them making money and being millionaires, but all to me. So it just shows you where a lot of teams need to improve. But there was a lot of good grades. It wasn't all bad, but there were a lot of things. It was eye opening for a lot of things that need to improve. So I'm slamming the individual NFL teams as a whole until they get their act together.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I'd love to check that article out myself, man. That sounds really interesting.
Look that up, man.
Yeah, I will, man. Large Patriot, who you gonna slime on tonight?
Man, I want to slime this tow truck guy, man. I had to get my car towed, man, in Gastonia. And the guy was like, yeah, man, I'll take you anywhere, man. $75. I was like, well, $75, that ain't bad, man. This is a great price, man. Great bargain for tow trucks, man. So he told me to Walmart, go to the Walmart Auto Care Center, man. And apparently I called them and everything. And when I got there, they said they was not taking no more. They're not doing no more fixing cars. I guess at this time of the day it was on a Saturday, which is, understand it's a Saturday. So now he's like, so I'm like, okay, told me to this other place. He's like, cool. He told me to the other place. Then we get there. He's like, man, we got to go, man. I got this call from the police officer. I got to go pick up this car and this and that. I was like, well, man, you know what I'm saying? I said, hey, I got to get my car here. You told me you'd take me anywhere. So let's take me anywhere, goddamn it. So he taking me. We get there, and then when we get there, he rushing me to get my car off the tow truck. And he's like, I need cash, man, cash in my hand. I said, well, sir, I ain't got no cash. I go to the ATM. Man. He's like, I ain't got time for that. This and that. I'm just like, man, look, if you are called to do a job, do your job. Don't take a job while you're on the job and you ain't finished the job you did the first time. Okay? Like, he's getting upset with me. And I'm like, dude, I didn't tell you pick up that phone. You pick that phone up. I was making sure you got paid, but how am I go in the location we at? Is no ATM. It ain't nothing but a restaurant and a Home Depot and a car dealership. Ain't no ATM over there. And man, I slimed that guy, man. But I was just like, man, come on, guy. Like, come on.
That's tough, man. One of the things that me and my fiance talk about is just service is just not the same like it used to be. It's really not. And we get on here on Slime Time and talk about that all the time. But my slime tonight, man, I'm sliming KFC. So KFC came out. Why are you laughing, producer?
Who even goes to KFC anymore?
Well, I do, but I'm not going to be going for much longer because KFC has come out and said they are discontinuing their hot wings. And I'm so disappointed in this because their hot wings are very tasty to me. I enjoy eating KFC hot wings.
That's a big deal.
Ever since I was in 4th grade, coming home after the first day of school from Nations Fort Elementary, and my mother had 6 hot wings waiting on me, and I tasted them, and I fell in love with hot wings on that day. They have always been a delicacy for me getting through hard times. But now, I don't have that anymore, KFC. They're taking it away, and I'm very disappointed, and I'm sliming them for that. And if there's a way that you guys can give me the recipe for KFC hot wings, I would greatly appreciate it. And I might just have some for you at the next CFI get together. So
put some hot sauce on the regular chicken.
Oh, it's more than that. It's more than that, man. It's a delectable blend of herbs and spices that come together as one. Explodes in your mouth with a great feeling of flavor. That's what happens. That's a KFC hot.
You're on a commercial.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so Chad Administrator has the final slime of the night. He says, my slime goes to the NCHSAA and their ticket distribution for these basketball games. Bad enough they don't play at a college site. True. But to have parents of players and cheerleaders not be able to get tickets because they sold out in under 60 seconds is nuts. Good gracious.
Yeah, I'm upset with the inconsistency because whenever I was in high school, the 2 games before state was played in Greensboro at the Coliseum. Like we played at the Coliseum for the sectionals and regionals. Neutral site can't sell out because it's a large. We ain't playing the actual Coliseum floor because the ACC tournament was about to go on around that time and they don't let you. But we played in like the convention center over there in the area where they have the coaching clinic at. If anybody's been there, we played in there.
Yeah.
The year before COVID hit, 2019, the year COVID actually hit, we played our regional final game at Lenoir-Rhyne.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
I'm not understanding why. I'm not understanding why these games are like at high schools and stuff, man. It doesn't make sense. And the state failed 2A East, if I'm not 2A East and 3A East. Because he's at West. Well, we're in the West, right? Or East?
Yeah, we're in the West.
We're in the West. They failed 2A West, 3A West, simply because you have a matchup between Central Cabarrus and West Charlotte. So you mean tell me we couldn't play at Davidson, or you couldn't play at, if you want to keep it high school, you could have played at Independence or some other school that's like a big facility.
Harding? We got a big gym at Harding.
Yeah, Harding. Definitely Harding. Like, why would you make a team from Concord and a team from Charlotte drive 3 hours to play each other in McDowell?
Yeah, that was.
They could have played in Shelby. They could have go to McDowell. They could have played at Shelby High. They could have stopped in Gastonia, played at Ashbrook, or Stuart Crampton, something like that. Like, that doesn't make sense to host a game between 2 schools basically in the same place, Charlotte and Concord, and they had to drive 3 hours. Then you have 2A. You have 2A. Last year they did the Shelby girls. You have 2A matchup between Reedsville and Lincoln Charter in Greensboro. How's that neutral?
Nah, that's definitely not. Yeah.
How's that neutral?
I think there has to be a little bit of common sense element that goes into some of this stuff. And, they talk about predetermining the sites and that kind of thing. But I guarantee you, and we talked about this before, I feel like. We talked about this before and said, if there are a number of facilities that are open to hosting these things across the state, based on the matchup, you go to that facility and say, hey, we want to play it here, And there may be a little bit of logistics that have to go on, but it's not enough to where you have to, require several weeks of planning. It's pretty simple. I guarantee you right now, I'm the Booster Club president at Harding, and they said they want to play that game at Harding. We get some people together and say, hey, can you help out with this? And can you help out with that? And I guarantee you, if we're getting a cut of the concession or, ticket fee or whatever, however it works, people are going to do it. So, I think still that's something that has to be revisited. I totally agree on that.
Why he doesn't? Like it doesn't make sense. And then they could have did it where I'm all for trying to keep it together, but you have the Lake Norman girls and Charlotte Catholic girls
Yeah,
at
and
Providence.
that's what.
Then you have the North Met boys and who is it? North Met and
Myers Park.
Myers Park playing at Providence.
Yeah.
Why you just ain't have those two games separate and just stagger the times where everybody can go to it? Like you could have played one game at 1:00, then the next game at 5 or 6 o'clock. Two different places. Question. And I don't understand why we are not utilizing UNC Charlotte. It is that if you want to go neutral for Charlotte schools, go to a college, UNC Charlotte.
Well, you know, there's still things going on that campus. It's still basketball season, so I mean, it could be a game, it could be, but those things can be talked about. I see your point. Those things can be talked about.
Stagger it like football, like football state championships, Friday, Saturday. Like if everybody plays Tuesday, you get two teams or certain teams get Wednesday, Thursday, play Friday. Some teams get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, play Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really make sense how they going about these things, man. The state, I don't know what it is, man. It sucks. It's getting terrible. And I'm all for it. I don't understand what, even with football. I know we're going to talk about it at a later date, but with these 7 classifications, we don't even use more than 2 or 3 colleges now for the state game. So I'm really anxious to see what we about to do about these state championship games in 2026 because we ain't never played at UNC Charlotte. You ain't even playing at Gardner-Webb.
I know.
You're not even playing at Catawba or Wing. All these D2s and D1 schools and within a close proximity of everybody. 2 hours, 2-3 hours of everybody.
Well,
but, you know what I'm saying?
We will talk about it in April, but just real quick on that, you know, a lot of people have always said because the NCHSAA offices are up there, that's kind of why those schools get those games. But, you know, that's an April topic, so we'll save it for that. All right, so on behalf of Large Patriot, Adam Weber, now in the green and gold, producer, Brandon, I am the pet man, Matt Morrow. Make sure you sign up for the HBCU Carolina Showcase, CharlotteFootballInsiders.com, only $25. Follow us on Twitter at Petman704, Facebook at Charlotte Football Insiders, YouTube at Matt Morrow, and Instagram at Charlotte Football Insiders. Thank you for watching Football Focus Weekly, and good night, everybody.